Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bryndís. I like to read, and I'm very excited to talk about my kind of plans and goals for 2026. So, my overarching goal for next year is simply to enjoy reading, to continue to enjoy reading. And I think that my main focus is going to be to continue with the mood reading that I've been doing in 2025. I really kind of rediscovered mood reading. I've always been the type of reader who likes to have a plan and to know what I'm going to be reading next. And even before BookTube, I would have like a TBR in my head, even though I didn't always write it down. But then after I started BookTube, I started doing like the, more kind of rigid in a way TBRs for each month, and I really enjoyed that. But because I like having kind of a plan, like I said. But I also this year I kind of abandoned all of those my plans and everything like that at the midpoint of the year, and I was just reading whatever. So I kind of rediscovered that I actually do also like that. I like having that freedom. So I think that's going to be my number one goal of 2026 is to mood read. And I think that the way that I can maybe balance it is to maybe just go 50-50. I like on average, I would say that I read about 10 books a month. So if I can like have it like 10 books, 5 books I mood read, 5 books are kind of part of either one of my goals that I will talk about, or reading events, or something like that that comes up that I want to participate in. So I think that's, 50-50 type of a thing. I think I'm going to go for that, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's basically my big goal is to mood read a lot. The second goal for the year is to continue on with the Read What You Own challenge, which I started in November, and it goes until I think the 5th of November 2026. And my goal in that challenge is to read 50 of my physical TBR, and I think that gives me the silver tier. Yeah, I think it was a silver tier, and I'm excited to do that and like not have so many unread books on my shelves. So I'm gonna continue on with that. So I'm lucky in that a lot of the books on my shelves are books that I can actually just like I browse them when I'm looking for something to read. I do usually just look at my shelves, and if something like catches my fancy, I will read it. And so that kind of goes into my goal of being able to mood read. But they also connect to a couple of other goals that I have, so which is good. But I do definitely, I mean, my goal is to read all of these 50 books, and if at the end of it I have still like a lot of books on my shelves that I have not had any interest in reading, then I will have to question whether there is a reason for me to own said books if I don't actually want to read them. So by the end of this challenge, even though my goal is 50 books, I will probably just try not to have any unread books, at least of the kind of normal fiction category. Because I do have some like biographies and poetry books, non-fiction books that I haven't read, but that I still want to keep, you know. Anyway, that's we'll see what happens with that. But definitely want to continue to get rid of those books that I like, read the books that I haven't read. I think when I'm filming this, I've read 3 or 4 of those books. 4 books, yeah, 4 of the books. So I'm 46 to go, and like I said, some of them fit with my other goals, and some don't. So it it will be a bit of a challenge for sure. But yeah, so those are kind of the big things, or the things that are kind of always in the background and not necessarily something that I need to do super, like I need to necessarily be super focused on. Mood reading is just going to happen naturally, obviously. And then the Read What You Own challenge is more, I mean, I want to reach 50 books read, but it's not, I don't know, it's a little bit different because I have a varied type of books that I can read from those shelves. But then I would say that I have three kind of newer goals that I want to achieve. But first, which also connects to kind of the mood reading, Read What You Own challenge, I suppose, is I also want to continue to take part in these different monthly reading events. You know, my favorite are like, I would say, Regency February, Jane Austen July, and October. But there are also other like March of the Mammoths, March Mystery Mayhem, Murder Mayhem, something. And you know, there are Shorty September or whatever. There are a lot of events over the year, in the months, like spread out through the year, that I also would like to take part in, and those also connect to the Read What You Own challenge and also my other goals, because you know they may fit in there. So yeah, I'm excited about these. So mood reading, Read What You Own, and different monthly reading events. I also, in regards to the monthly reading events, I also need to, so I feel like I've kind of gone so like all the way into this event. So for February, I would only read Regency books. You know, for July, I would only read Jane Austen. And you don't have to actually do that. It's enough to read one book to take part in the event. And I need to remember that. I need to stop this extremism when it comes to doing things like that. But yeah, so let's talk about the three other goals that I have. Two of them are ongoing and not new, and then one of them is brand new. I will finish with that one. I'm very excited about that one. But the two other ones that I have already started and have been doing, one of them for a couple of years already. First of all, so I'm reading Charles Dickens, and I want to read all of his books in publication order. And I have already read 5 of his books. I don't know exactly how many he wrote, but there were quite a few of them. And so I'm up to the Old Curiosity Shop, and so I read the books up to the Old Curiosity Shop. And in 2026, I want to read 6 more Charles Dickens. I've decided I'm not even allowed to read more than 6. So every other month I can read a Charles Dickens, or like maybe spread it out over 2 months, or however I do it. And that's because when I'm a completionist, I think it's the word you use, because I get so fixated on an author that I will read everything they've written in a short time. And then when you're asking me like, how was this book? How was that book? I can't distinguish between the books. Everything becomes like a blur. And I don't want that for Charles Dickens. And so because I love him. These 5 books or whatever I've read already, I absolutely love. He's fast becoming one of my favorite authors. I could read nothing but Charles Dickens for the next few months and finish all of the books. And I don't want to do that. I want to savor it. I want to really like remember each book and just not go insane. So 6 Charles Dickens. And so that's one of my challenges or goals for the year. Charles Dickens, and read no more than 6. And no less than 6, just 6. Exactly 6 books. And this fits also with the Read What You Own challenge, because I own at least, I think, 3 or 4 of his books that I haven't read. So, I will be chipping away at the Read What You Own challenge as I'm reading Charles Dickens through the year. And I can also add this to for example, to October, because obviously he was a Victorian author. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I also think it will fit into mood reading, because I feel that I'm always in the mood to read Charles Dickens. Yes, so that's the first one. And then the other thing that I'm doing, my own personal kind of challenge, is I'm actually reading, I have been reading since 2023. I have been reading Stephen King, also in publication order, or not in publication order, in decade order. So I decided, instead of going in publication order, I'm doing decade by decade. So he published his first book in 1974. So for me, the decade then is 1974 to and through 1983. And I have already read 6 books. 6.5, because I'm halfway through one of the books. And I'm gonna put it here on the screen. So these, you can see, here are the books that I've read. And I want to read all of the rest of them. I think that some of them are, obviously, as you can see, so Stephen King wrote a lot of books, or has written a lot of books. And I feel like the first decades of when he was writing, there were 1,000 books a year or something. Like he was busy. And he obviously wrote some books under the name of Richard Bachman, I think. And he also wrote a lot of novellas and short stories and short story collections. So for 1974 to 1980, I still have Rage, which is a Bachman novel, Night Shift, which is a short story collection, The Stand, The Mist, and then Dance Macabre, which is a non-fiction, and then Roadwork, which is a Bachman novel. I'm not gonna read, so I want to read everything. Novels, short stories, novellas, non-fiction, all of it. So, according to my calculations, as you can see here we have a decade from 1981 to 1990, and obviously my decade ends at the end of 1983. I have not read anything. I'm halfway through Christine, or 1/3 through Christine, but I have not read any of these other books. And I think I have 20 more books from one decade. I mean, and like I said, I've read 6 already. He wrote 26 books in one decade. Like I said, novellas, short stories as well, but that's quite a lot. Mr. King, that's quite a lot. So I don't think that I'm gonna finish this in 2026. I have no goal to finish all of these in 2026. But I would like to continue with it and chip away at this list. And I have some of the books, so I might prioritize those, because that also means I can read books from my Read What You Own challenge. So I have The Stand, I have Cujo, maybe only those 2 actually, Christine. So I have 3 physical copies of these books, and so those will be my priority for sure. But definitely, I think actually, no, I also own The Dark Tower, the first book. I have a few books in the Dark Tower series. Yeah, so Stephen King. So now we have, I still have one challenge to go, but so we're doing mood reading and the Read What You Own challenge, which go in hand to a degree. I'm going to be participating in all the monthly reading events that I feel like doing, remembering that I don't have to go all in. I can just read 1 or 2 books that fit, maybe they fit the prompts or whatever, or the group reads or whatever. I don't need to go like all like 100%. 50% is fine or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. Charles Dickens and then Stephen King. But then what is going to be the biggest challenge for me is that I've decided to take part in Ellen's at Ellen Made Book Club's Diversity Bingo. I'm very excited about that. I do not read very diversely. It's, I don't know, I suppose it's fine. Like, you can read whatever you want to read, right? But I want to read. I'm very keen on reading, hearing people, like reading perspectives that are different from mine, and different from what I'm used to. I think that's very healthy and very just, helps you grow as a human being. And so I've decided to take part in her bingo. Now, Ellen went all out in creating her bingo. She has like levels for everybody. I'm gonna do the 12 book bingo, the 3 times 4. So basically what it means for me is that I need to read 12 books that fit the prompts on the bingo board. You can see the bingo board here. And I want to read from the 6 continents and from 6 different diversity representation through own voices. That's what I want to read. So her diversity bingo is kind of both culturally, like she has like from all the 6 different continents, and then she also is looking at diversity through like representation of culture, like I said, religion, abilities, sexual orientation or gender orientation, all the different ways that us human beings are different, but really we are all the same. So I really like that. That I really like this idea, but because I really do read very. I read a lot of like English classics and fantasy, which is usually white men. A couple of women there in as well, but a lot of white men, and obviously European, like Icelandic and Nordic literature. So I would like to diversify more. And there are definitely continents that I have not read from. And I think that in regards to continents, it has to be like the author has to be from the continent. Because I've read a lot of books that take place in Africa, but all of them have been written by Europeans, white Europeans. So I would like to read a book that takes place in one of the many countries in Africa by a person from that country. And also I would like to read, I haven't read anything, I have read actually a classic from Japan by a Japanese person. So technically, I have read from Asia, North America. I don't think I've read I read like Paulo Freire from South America, but that was like for school. I don't think that counts. So I have read from some of the other continents, but definitely not Africa. And I don't think I've read anything from Oceania that is both the author and the story taking place in one of those countries. So it's going to be really interesting to find books, and will definitely be counting on Ellen's recommendations for all the prompts, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm also very excited to read more diversely in regards to people's abilities, religions, sexual orientation, gender, and all of those things, because that's not necessarily something that I do a lot. And I think that's simply because I read a lot of classics, and they are during those time periods, you really were not allowed to be anything other than, So I'm very excited about that diversity bingo, and I really hope that I will get a bingo. I'm starting off easy, like I said, 12 books, and I think I probably have a couple in here that would fit that I can also fit into Read What You Own challenge. And I mean, technically, obviously, I will have like North America if I read Stephen King, but I think I want to do it a little bit more difficult for myself and do because North America is also like Mexico and Canada and Central America, Hawaii, So, I think I will definitely try to make it a little bit less easy on myself. Although, we'll see. We'll see how the year progresses. But yes, so those are my goals and plans for 2026. And for BookTube, I'm obviously just going to continue to do my weekly reading wrap-ups. And I think that's probably going to be my goal for BookTube as well, is just to I hope you've been hearing me, to just continue to do these kind of easygoing videos. And we'll see if at some point that changes. I will obviously let you know. But anyway, I hope you're having a good pre-Christmas period if you celebrate, or just a good December. And next week I will tell you all about the books that I've been reading, which to be honest is mostly Lord of the Rings, but I did finish Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, and I'm reading A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, and I will talk about them next week. But until then, see you. Bye.